That moves us very nicely into looking at re-evaluating discipline. And you've identified that we definitely have a need, and I think that need comes out very beautifully when you talk about the understanding of hardwiring. But you talk about three areas that I'd like to touch on and see if we can get some guidance from you. One is creating guidelines that foster well-being. Tell us more about that.
So when I talk about creating guidelines, a lot of parents use the word discipline. Well, what kind of discipline should I use? Kind of like, I'm going to show this kid who the boss is. Discipline. I'm going to show this child that when mommy or daddy say something, they have to listen. And I say to parents, is that really what you want? Because let me just tell you, the biggest negative of that is you're teaching children that when someone in power tells them something, they need to listen. That sets them up for being abused. It takes away any inner guidance. It takes away any checking in with what feels right, what feels wrong. If a grown-up in power tells you something, then you damn well better listen or else. Really, parents, that's not what you're aiming for, even though I know it's what we
And
think
some
we're
days,
aiming
yeah.
for. So, I talk about setting healthy guidelines. Well, you can call them boundaries. Parents love to call them rules. But again, the word, and I'll use the word rule as long as I first give this caveat that a rule is not part of that whole discipline. Here are the rules, and you better follow them. And if you don't follow them, if you get, however the rules are done, if you get 3 red circles because you didn't follow the rules, then here's what your consequence. Parents love, well, what consequence can I give her?
Yeah.
You know, that means you're back into rules, consequences, discipline. I'm the boss. Just watch yourself. That's all I'm saying. So what you want to do is you want to create an environment with healthy boundaries. This is not a free-for-all. Okay. So what do healthy boundaries look like? I think in my book I probably outlined.
Yes.
It's been a long time since I read my own book, so I'm not even sure what's in there anymore. But I know that it's about having healthy, consistent boundaries that the children know are okay or not okay. So for example, do we jump on the couch or do we not jump on the couch? I know many parents who, when they're tired, let the kids jump on the couch, you know, when they're little. It's cute. I'm too tired to deal with it. But when they come home from a stressful day, or they're mad at somebody, or they're overwhelmed and the kid's jumping and now they're triggered, they yell, how many times do I have to tell you you can't jump on the couch? That inconsistency is not a healthy boundary or guideline. Okay? Another guideline is to understand at the stage of development your children are in, what they can and cannot follow. So if you want your 2-year-old to clean up all his toys because you don't want to clean them up, and after all, he went around dumping them all over the house, which, by the way, is a normal thing for a 2-year-old to do. It's a stage called dumping, which is not easy to live with. Now he's got this dumped and that dumped and this dumped, and you make a rule after we play with something, sweetheart, even if you say it with a smile, and if you use the word sweetheart, after we play with something, sweetheart, we have to put it away. And you're expecting that 2-year-old brain, because he's cute and he's smart and he's verbal, that you think cognitively he understands everything and can do it. You're going down a bad path because 2-year-olds cognitively don't get this. Do they get it sometimes? Yes. Do they get it with help? Yes. Do they get it if they've had enough sleep and the right things to eat and not any other stress? Yes. But parents jump to the conclusion, because he did it yesterday, he could do it today. And if he's not doing it today, he's defying me.
Yes.
We're back to that original discipline.
Yeah.
He's defying me.
Yeah.
So now I have to remind him it's the rule.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't follow it, now we're into consequences. So now we have a 2-year-old throwing a tantrum. Okay. So what would the healthy boundary look like there? Again, this is like me again with eating healthy and going to the gym. Okay. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes willingness. You sit down with a 2-year-old and you say, before we do that, oh my gosh, look at all these toys. And then you get cutesy, because 2-year-olds love cutesy rather than lectures. So do 4-year-olds and 6-year-olds and 12-year-olds, by the way. And you say, that red car really needs to go home. Boom, he's home. You know, that blue car needs to go home. Boom, in the crate, he's home. Yeah. What I'm talking about is healthy boundaries that the child can actually do successfully, feel good about himself, and you're bonding with him. So it has to do with consistency, it has to do with you modeling it, and it has to do with age appropriate.